So I'm going to tell you a little bit of this story. I actually I went through a nasty bout of cancer in 2015, and I was all the way down to stage 4. A group of doctors told me I had 3 months to live, maybe. My family seen me and they said he's not even gonna last 3 months. And then I had 2 hospice nurses come to my house. I was put in hospice. You know, that means that's it. I mean, that's all the medical industry can do. Go home and be at peace with your family, and I was put in hospice. Well, I suffered a spinal collapse. I ended up in an emergency room. I had a couple surgeries, and I was laying flat on my back in the recovery room, awake. The doctors came in and explained my surgeries went perfectly. Talked about the type of follow-up and stuff that I would be doing when I left the hospital. And as I'm laying there, the entire room turns weird cold for no reason. And I kind of scrunched up, you know, thinking somebody just opened the doors at the end of the room and it got really cold. And when I looked down to see if the doors were open and the air was coming through, the doors were shut. And when I started to pan back to my left, I did this jump, and I'm laying on my back on this hospital bed, and I'm looking at a brown robe, white scarf, beard and face of Jesus, and he's looking at me. This all happened in maybe 3 or 4 seconds. I see his right foot take a half a step towards me, and he reached out and he touched me on the shoulder, and the next thing I look and he's gone. So 3 or 4 seconds in my head, old Catholic boy that didn't go to church anymore, and I said, I was in the presence of Jesus. And that day, from a broken back, surgeries, stage 4 cancer, was already on liquid morphine, down 40 pounds, looked like I was dying, smelled like I was dying. I was dying. That day, all the pain completely stops. And in my head, I'm thinking, it's got to be a miracle, you know. And what happens is I start recovering so fast from the cancer that by the time the first 3 month scan came up, my beautiful little doctor from Pakistan looked at me and she said, "Your journey is not of medicine, it's miraculous." She said that your scans look like a normal, healthy guy. And just absolutely, completely blown away from the entire experience, what my body was going through, how I pushed myself through my cancer journey to walk in the park and to swim in the pool and go to the gym, and made myself doing stuff even though I was just broken down. I pushed myself, and I had to get my health back. And so in my journey of helping cancer people, I'm introduced by my cousin to a beautiful young lady with stage 4 breast cancer. She's doing pretty good through her journey. She's on medication and she's staying steady. And the meeting was just too much. I mean, it was overwhelming. I mean, when we started talking, she was out of the country visiting cousins. So we had 2.5 weeks to talk before we even met in person. And so it was already just silly. I mean, it was like, what is going on here? And I was, you know, after you meet somebody, I start stalking her on Facebook, and she's stalking me and watching my crazy videos. By this time, I was already helping cancer people, doing juicing videos. I was speaking events. I had published a book about my journey. And so we meet in person, and the meetings were just unbelievable. I mean, it was just it was a divine meeting. if you're a believer, because you can't make these things up and you can't plan these things, you know. So what happens is I meet this young lady, and we fall in love. We get married. We come home and we're getting calls from all over the place from people going through cancer saying, what do you do about this and this and this? And she says, did you ever think about maybe starting a foundation? And I was like, maybe it was a thought, but I knew nothing about it, so it looked like a mountain to me. So what happens is we pushed our desks together. We start Googling stuff. We start watching YouTube videos. We called a couple attorneys and asked their advice. We sat there side by side with our desks pushed together. We did the paperwork, and we launched a cancer foundation called Living Hope Cancer Foundation to coach positive mindset, to coach the get up and live while you're going through your cancer journey. No matter what's going on. Can you still go on a vacation? Can you still go for a walk? Can you still get in the pool? I already proved it. You can go to the pool, you can go to the gym, you can go to the park and walk your dog. I already proved it because I was doing it. So all I was doing is just telling people what I was doing. So in the last year, this foundation just took off. It just, our coaching stuff and our videos and our website and stuff just went crazy. And so we've been working 6 days a week, sometimes 7, because the phone will ring. If somebody wants coached, you know, they want to know what to do through things. We call it cancer coaching. So we coach positive mindset, and the calls come in from all over the country and sometimes around the world. I've gotten calls from India and South Africa and Ireland and Australia. And so what happened is recently the foundation's growing. So me and my wife Hannah started speaking at different places to promote the event, but to inspire people, to give them hope, you know. And it's weird because we're getting the calls that people are like, I don't have cancer, and I was at your event, or I read one of your books, or I'm on your website right now watching some of your coaching videos. I don't have cancer and I'm blown away. I'm so inspired. And so we got all these amazing things going on, and then out of the blue we get a call from a guy who actually found me. This is funny. He found me on TikTok. He started watching my TikTok videos talking about my cancer journey, and he sends me an email, and the first thing it says at the top of the page is, I love your attitude. So Adam sends me this email, and I respond, I'd love to meet you. And when we start talking, the meeting was like just awesome. The reason being is because Adam is also a stage 4 prostate cancer survivor like myself, with a miraculous story. And so the meeting was you could just tell the chemistry was it was like family. It's how you feel when you're around your family. And I'm just meeting him. So one of the things that he did after his cancer journey was he and his wife went on an anniversary getaway to Hawaii. And it's real heavy on his mind that he's supposed to be doing something with this miraculous recovery from cancer. He's supposed to be touching people's lives somehow. He didn't really know how, and it was heavy on his mind. And while they were in Hawaii, he said the thing that he noticed was everybody had a huge smile on their face. He'd seen the smiles all day long. Everybody, all different nationalities from all over the world, and the thing they had in common was this smile. And he looked at his wife and he says, I think we're supposed to do something that deals with a smile. And he went home and went to work, and he produced a natural toothpaste and mouth rinse, a peppermint toothpaste for adults, and a vanilla, it tastes like candy, product for kids. And he said, I want 100% of the profit to go towards cancer foundations. So he calls me, we could get on the phone, and he says, I've never reached out to anybody on TikTok before, so that was the first. And he says, when I seen what you guys do, and he says, and what you've been through, he says, I absolutely just couldn't believe it. And so he said, I want to make sure that your foundation gets some profit from the sale of my natural toothpaste. And I said, I would absolutely love that. And we'll put it on our social media and website and stuff also. And we'll push it a little bit and get some sales for you guys for your product. And so we started having some phone calls about the toothpaste. And over the last couple months, I've been doing a lot of swimming. And it's a cool thing after my cancer journey because my back don't hurt. So I'm up to like swimming 1 mile to 1.5 miles a day. That's pretty good swimming. And while I'm swimming, I get a lot of time to think or pray or meditate and all the stuff that crazy people like me do. So what happens is I'm thinking about, I need to do something that is going to give this cancer foundation recognition. It's gonna make people more aware of Living Hope Cancer Foundation, because the people that coach cancer people, there's not a lot of us out there right now, and the cancer industry is huge. And so I'm thinking, what can I do to make people more aware of this foundation? And so it's heavy on my mind. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm swimming, but you can't swim across the country. Thought maybe about doing, some triathlons or something, and really just push myself to a fitness guy that I haven't been in years because of my cancer journey and the muscle that I lost and everything. And so a couple days ago, me and my wife Hannah are on the phone with Adam talking about launching things on the toothpaste end, putting the site up so we can get things rolling. And in our conversation, we're chatting back and forth, and he says, guess what I'm going to do? And I said, what are you going to do? And he says, I'm going to ride a bike across the country. And I said, without even taking a breath, I'm going with you. And my wife looks at me like, what? And she knows that I'm absolutely dead serious. And he's like, are you serious? And I go, no, I'm serious. I'm going to ride a bike, a road bike, a bicycle across the country with you. And he's like, wow. He said, I've asked my nephew and some other people to ride with me. And he said, I've got turned down. And he says, I wasn't really sure of what I was going to do. He says, and then you pop up out of nowhere from TikTok, and we're talking about cancer, recovery, survival, what we're doing now with life because of our cancer journey. And all of a sudden, this comes up. This is when I say, you can't plan these things, or, humans, it just fell into our lap, and I call that a little elbow from God. It fell into our lap because God had this planned a long time ago, before Chuck even knew he was going to go through stage 4 cancer. And he knew what was going to happen, and he knew what was going to happen with the foundation, and he also knew what was going to happen with Hannah's health this year. So about 4 months after we get married, Hannah starts having pains in her neck. And what had happened was her breast cancer started spreading. And it spread into her spine. So she had spinal surgery. They went through the front of her neck and moved everything and did the spinal surgery. Then they sent her home, and she started recovering from that and had all kinds of problems from the radiation. They was giving her, burn her so bad that she had to have a feeding tube in her stomach to keep her alive, a tube in her stomach that you pour protein shakes and stuff in to keep her alive. And she got through that, and then she started having problems in her back. And all the time that she's going through this, and I become #1 caregiver in the world, I'm like, whatever it takes to make her comfortable. gotta get over. What happens is I'm driving right now, and I'll tell you where I'm going. So what happens is she ends up with broken back, lower back surgery, 7-hour spinal surgery, 7 hours. It was traumatic. I'll never forget it. Then she's back home, and I'm helping her sit up. She's in pain. She didn't have that miracle that I had. I didn't understand what she was going through until I didn't understand what she's going. I was touched by Jesus, and I didn't have pain, and I was walking the hospital floor that night. And she says, I'm in such pain, she couldn't even sit up in bed. And so what happens is she had spinal surgery, just crazy things. And this whole time, we're working on the foundation. We wrote a book about our journey, and that came out. And I'm on my way right now. I'm driving, and I'm going to look at a bicycle. I don't even have a road bike. I've rode a mountain bike, but I never rode a road bike before. So I'm on my way right now. I'm driving in Phoenix, Arizona, to go look at a road bike, to talk about this upcoming trip of me and Adam, 2 stage 4 cancer survivors, riding bicycles together across the United States.